Welcome to Alpha Insights. I'm Dakota. Today we're digging into a big strategic move in the AI infrastructure world. With me is James, a London-based analyst who follows semiconductors and data center networks. James, great to have you.
Thanks, Dakota. Pleasure to be here.
Quick note for listeners. If you have questions as we go, you can ask us at stockalpha.ai.
Perfect. Let's jump in.
So to set the scene, NVIDIA made a $2 billion strategic investment in Marvell today. And the partnership ties Marvell into NVIDIA's NVLink Fusion ecosystem. Markets reacted. Marvell jumped about 11% intraday. But I want to focus on something that got buried in the press coverage: silicon photonics. James, why is that phrase suddenly center stage?
Yeah, that's a good point. The short version is that modern AI clusters generate so much data movement that copper cables and traditional electrical interconnects running at rack scale simply don't scale in bandwidth or power efficiency. Silicon photonics lets you move huge amounts of data optically at lower power per bit and with higher density. That's why NVIDIA and Marvell are flagging it.
When you say move data optically, are we talking transceivers or something bigger?
It's broader. There are transceiver vendors, the module layer, but Marvell bought Celestial AI, which brought a photonic fabric, essentially a chip-scale optical interconnect architecture. That sits under the modules. It's about integrating optics at the chip and board level, so you can design rack-scale systems with optics built in, not bolted on.
Right. And Marvell hasn't been passive here. Their fourth quarter revenue was about $2.2 billion, up 22% year over year, with full fiscal year revenue around $8.2 billion. Management also guided to roughly $2.4 billion for the next quarter. How does that financial momentum tie into this strategic move?
The results show they're already benefiting from AI data center demand, which gives them the financial firepower and credibility to invest in strategic M&A. Earlier this year, they bought XCon Technologies for switching silicon and Celestial AI for photonics. That combination creates an integrated pathway from compute to network to optical fabric, and investors took notice today.
Celestial's ramp targets also sounded bold. Can you unpack the timeline they gave?
Sure. Marvell says Celestial will start contributing initial revenue in the second half of fiscal year 2028, ramped to about $500 million annualized by the fourth quarter of fiscal year 2028, and to about $1 billion by the fourth quarter of fiscal year 2029. Those are material numbers, and they signal that Marvell expects photonics to be a big revenue stream within 3 years.
That makes the $2 billion investment from NVIDIA look strategic, not just financial. How does NVLink Fusion fit into this?
NVLink Fusion is NVIDIA's rack-scale framework that lets customers compose semi-custom AI systems. It explicitly includes the optical layer as part of that composition. So NVIDIA anchors the compute, and with Marvell handling switching, custom silicon, and now photonics, customers get an integrated stack optimized end-to-end. That reduces friction for hyperscalers and large cloud builders who need scalable interconnects fast.
Interesting. So if NVIDIA and Marvell are locking this together, what does that mean for the rest of the market, the transceiver makers and other photonics players?
It raises the competitive bar. Companies like Coherent, Lumentum, and Applied Optoelectronics are established in optical components and modules. But this partnership signals that customers will increasingly expect NVIDIA-grade integration, a seamless mix of compute, switching, and photonics. That favors platform-level solutions that can integrate widely, not just single module vendors.
And then there's POET Technologies. They keep popping up in discussions about optical interposers. What's their angle?
POET has been developing an optical interposer approach that integrates optical and electronic components on a single substrate, chip-scale integration without discrete packaging. Critically, their platform is foundry agnostic, which matters when supply chain flexibility is a priority. They're not the headline grabber today, but their architecture addresses the same bottleneck Marvell just doubled down on. Analysts note the market often prices the picks and shovels providers first and the enabling platforms later.
So for listeners thinking about implications,
The key is that optical interconnect has moved from roadmap to requirement. Rack designs now factor in co-packaged optics and silicon photonics from the start. That changes procurement and system design timelines, and it broadens the addressable market to include carrier infrastructure like AI-enabled radio access networks.
right, interesting.
Honestly, I was a bit surprised by how fast this shifted, but once you follow the engineering constraints, it makes sense.
Before we wrap, a quick reminder. None of this is investment advice. We're laying out market structure and what analysts are saying for information only.
Exactly. Analysts note that NVIDIA's $2 billion move validates photonics at scale, but it also raises the question of which companies will build the optical layer across the broader market.
Okay, James, thanks. Let's finish with 3 quick takeaways for listeners.
1. NVIDIA's $2 billion investment signals silicon photonics is a present-day requirement for large-scale AI infrastructure. 2. Marvell's acquisitions and revenue guidance show it's positioning photonics as a major new revenue stream within a few years. 3. The market for optical interconnect is shifting from modules to platforms and integration architecture. That changes who could benefit from broader adoption. But remember, this is informational only.
Great summary. If you have questions about anything we discussed today, you can ask us directly at stockalpha.ai. We answer listener questions live. And for more market insights, head over to stockalpha.ai. Thanks for listening to Alpha Insights.